What is going on, everyone? It's your guy, Cole Jackson, back here on Two Guys Watching Football in the Russell Street Report film room. We're getting into it. Week one's in the books. We got a few sessions coming out today. We're going to focus on the question, what in the world happened to the Baltimore Ravens run game? At the end of the day, it didn't matter, but the Ravens ran for 63 yards. I think that's one of their lowest outputs under Greg Roman with Lamar Jackson at the helm. The pass game looked good, which is great. The run game looked terrible, and we need to know why, because we know the Ravens are going to run the ball, and if they're not running it well, we need to know why. And so we're going to get into it, very detailed breakdowns. I think we look at 9 plays here. That's the majority of the run plays. And I'm really looking at the negative plays, and that's not to say they didn't have any positivity, but it's to really focus on the issues. And the issues are it's not one guy. It's not, poor running backs. It's not one guy, missing all of his blocks. But what you see is a lack of execution from multiple guys. Specifically, you do see some bad plays from the tight end group, specifically Josh Oliver. Pat Ricard misses a couple blocks, and it really does beg the question, why is Josh Oliver playing over Nick Boyle? Everyone gave me crap on Twitter about this the other day. Apparently, all I do is get into Nick Boyle and don't show the film. I brought the film today. Let's get into it.
To start with some negative plays, and I apologize in advance for that, but I really want to get to the bottom of what sort of happened. So we're going to kind of do what we always do, go through the concept, what happened on the play. So the first play we're looking at, and these are in chronological order, just so you guys know. So the first play we're looking at is going to be a power to the right. So as we've talked about, we're going to get down blocks from the right side of the line, and we're going to get a pull from Ben Powers. Ideally, we'd have Oliver, drive blocking here, Powers reaching there, pull coming through. Let's run it through and see what happens. And so, this is one of those situations where it's hard to blame the running back. So, linebacker, which looks like their Will, that'd be their Will linebacker, steps up and Kenyon Drake has nowhere to go. So the question is, what happened? Why did this happen? So sometimes you guys will know if you watch previous videos, we'll usually have a kick-out block for the outside man. There is no outside man here. The Will is up here. So he would technically be the kick-out man or the first blocked. So let's run it through, see what happens. So we have, everything is going pretty well here. There's our down blocks. Ricard's climbing there. This guy just needs to be taken care of. And the question is, where's our puller? So let's go back, and I want you to focus on this man right here, because Josh Oliver is going to get some negative plays here tonight. So Powers is pulling, and Powers should be the man locating and blocking the Will linebacker. But right here, we have a smorgasbord. So this is kind of twofold. I would say if you watch Powers pull, everything looks pretty normal. He's trying to get around really quickly. He wants to hug the down blocks as tightly as possible. I think he could have got a little bit deeper on his drop step. He's pretty tight to the line here. But the real fundamental issue is Josh Oliver's block. And that's just right here. He's just lit up. And he's lit up right back in to Ben Powers' pull. And so that means Powers can't get out there, do his kick-out block, give Drake a seam. You see Andrews locating here. Everything else looks okay. You can see right there. So again, imagine Powers isn't in a kerfuffle here and is kicking out here. Drake's going that way. So it's just, we're going to see this a lot. We're going to see one guy lose and it blow up the entire play. On this next concept, we're going to look at the toss right. So you're going to get a pin from Mark Andrews. And you can see Mark Andrews' man here, and that's important because this guy is likely in coverage on Andrews. I believe that's Sauce. So Sauce is inside on Andrews. He's going to pin the defensive end. Moses is going to pull, and you're also going to get Ricard pulling. So what happens? So there's Andrews on the pin. Really good, really good. Like, look at that leverage. He's got outside leverage on the outside shoulder. Perfect pin. Can't beat that. Morgan Moses has to go for Sauce because he was up on Andrews. So Sauce played this really well. I want to give credit to Sauce here. Look how Sauce gets up in the run game. He kind of sees it, right? And what he does is sets the edge. He gets right up into this area. And look, he's bending around, and that's what you want. But the problem here is Pat Ricard and Morgan Moses, their eyes are on the same man, and C.J. Mosley is just chilling. So that's one of those things where if Ricard kept it inside, I'm not entirely sure why Ricard is going here. I don't know if he's aiming out for this man. That might be what it is. But once you see Sauce cut up, Ricard should be looking inside because Drake's going to look inside. And that's exactly what happens. Drake cuts right inside. I thought it was a good cut, but Ricard's 2 outside. CJ Mosley's here. And just, Andrews could have made a better block. I mean, we're going to talk about tight end blocking quite a bit here, but I thought Andrews did enough. If Ricard takes that inside shoulder, essentially right here, if Ricard's cutting this upside, once he sees Sauce cutting, he needs to start to bend it up and attack that inside shoulder, hoping that Drake is seeing what he's seeing, and that just doesn't happen. So, I mean, DJ Reed, I think that is, was coming across too. So, I mean, credit the Jets. They just played some good run D on some of these. But, again, just one guy missing, causing kind of constant issues here. So we're going to see an option concept on this one with duo blocking from the O-line. So there's going to be the read. You're going to see, how do we know it's duo? We have double teams, 2 double teams. That means duo. You got Ricard cutting across here, which would be the lead blocker for Lamar on a keep. He hands it off to Mike Davis. And, what happens here basically is Q just sort of absolutely dominates Powers and Moses. So they get up. No one's overtaking this block. Lamar's doing his thing by pulling these 2 defenders with Ricard. So, Davis has the ball here, but look at those eyes. Those eyes are on Lamar Jackson. That's what the option concept does for the offense. And you need someone getting off this block. You need Powers overtaking, Moses getting up into Mosley, and that's kind of your seam. And then Mike Davis is one-on-one with Sauce Gardner. That does not happen. So really the fundamental issue is just this double team was very poor. Quinnen Williams a beast, so I understand that, but that's got to be better. So ideally what we'd see here, and you can see James trying to bang him down, Powers has to get that head across. Get that head across, get that outside hand hooked, and start to turn him inwards that way. Then James bangs off and climbs up. And so he should be climbing up into the mic because these guys, again, are reading Lamar and following. So there's James looking that way, but he needs to be working up into Mosley. If he works up into Mosley, and if Powers overtakes that shoulder, it's not going to be a big gain, but Davis is essentially, again, if James is going this way, he's essentially riding their butts up that way, one-on-one with Sauce. If you make a guy miss, you're getting a couple more yards. So pretty fundamental issues here. On this one, we are going to have a power left with Andrews also pulling, so we're going to get down blocks from the left side of the line, Zeitler pulling, you're going to see Andrews pull as well. And so I like this one, but the question is, who had CJ Mosley? Because CJ Mosley is who busts this up. So CJ Mosley from the mic spot here. So watch. We've seen this before. We're going to see James climb for Mosley. And you can see right here, just poor. Should not be taking inside leverage on this block. He should be taking outside leverage. Completely whiffs. There's CJ Mosley filling the gap. Drake's reading him. Drake starts to try and bend it outside. So that doesn't work because the Andrews and Zeitler are running kickout blocks, which you can see. See how Zeitler gets his head across, turns him in. Andrews is going to do the exact same to Quan Alexander. Right there, see? See? Perfect. Like that. Those are good blocks from Zeitler. But so Kenyon Drake has to cut it because CJ Mosley gets through James. And actually, Ben Powers did a really good job here. He's got inside lever or outside leverage. He's got that outside shoulder. This should be the gap. And it's just not. So again, one guy kind of missing a block and causing the entire concept to fail. Right there, CJ Mosley playing good run D. We've seen that in Baltimore. Once we get into the next play here, we are going to see a counter play. We're going to see some confusion some confusion by Andrews after a miss by Ricard. So you're going to get a counter here. You're going to get Drake taking an inside step here, and then he's going to run back that way. So it's a bit of a counter. You can see him start to break it there. Had a hard time figuring out if this was some sort of split zone. I don't think it is because you're seeing everybody take... I don't know why you'd bring two guys back against the split zone, so I'm pretty sure it's a counter. But Ricard's got to make this block, basically. Ricard has to attack inside leverage here, and he's basically the kick-out man, and you see just miss. You can see 58 bending his shoulders inside, Ricard's outside, and there he turns. So that forces Andrews into him instead of Andrews into the mic. And that's who comes up and makes the play on Drake. So again, like, it's tough. I don't know what you expect the running backs to do on these plays. Like, there's nothing. He's getting hit as soon as he gets the ball. He's getting gang tackled. It's just tough stuff. Next play, we're going to get a duo. We have doubles from Powers and Linderbaum, and we have doubles from Zeitler and Moses. So again, that's how you know. Let me just mark it. So there's your double teams on your duo concept, and Ricard is your lead blocker up the middle. So at first, I was upset. I want you guys to focus on this. I was upset with Moses, and I was like, oh, there's Moses losing again. Because watch. Moses' man comes free, right? And that's who's eating the gap. But watch what happens. So and this is the importance of all 22. So Oliver is trying to overtake inside leverage. And look where he's working, right into the hip. Right at that purple mark, right into the hip of Moses. So now Moses is basically getting rammed from his outside. And, I mean, he's got no way to widen his base. And so when he gets overtaken, not a whole lot he can do there. So unfortunate there. Again, Josh Oliver getting beat. Not entirely sure why he was in the game over Nick Boyle, but disappointing nonetheless. Let me try and just pull this up really quick. Okay, on this next one. So this is going to be outside zone to the right. So essentially you're going to get wide steps from the entire line. Boom, boom, boom. Should be working that way. And everybody does a pretty good job. So CJ Mosley kind of causing a ruckus here. Zeitler does a really nice job of getting outside leverage and turning his guy in. Running back path is this way, so that's a very good block by Zeitler. See how he just turns his guy inside? Linderbaum is reaching level 2. So the question is, who missed? And who missed was once again Morgan Moses. So Morgan Moses doesn't get wide enough on his step. He should be targeting outside here. And you can kind of see it in his footwork. Watch his right foot. See how he takes a little bit of a stutter step while everybody's going wide? He's taking a stutter step. So he's not as wide as everybody else. And he just basically blocks nobody. So that might have been some confusion because of this man. But if that's the case and you're going outside, he should be reaching for this guy, getting inside help from Oliver. See how Oliver puts his hand here? That's actually a good play by Oliver. So Oliver puts his hand here because he's expecting Moses to get here. And then Oliver will hit that. Moses overtakes outside shoulder. He uses that outside hook to get into Mosley. And he does, but Ricard has to pick up this man. That guy's now unblocked. Justice Hill basically has nowhere to go. So Morgan Moses blocking nobody kind of leads to that one. This one is a keep by Lamar. It's one of the few option concepts they ran. Again, we got one guy kind of... This one wasn't bad. I mean, this is a positive gain. I don't want to drone on about this. But you're going to see Makari try and reach level 2. And there he bangs down with Linderbaum. And he's got to get outside here. And I think he just did a little too much on the inside rather than getting into level 2. This guy's now running unblocked. And that... I mean, again, this is a positive gain, so I'm not trying to take it away, but... It just kind of caused, a little bit of a missed opportunity for Lamar to have a big gain. I missed the start of this play. Sorry about that. But it's essentially power right. You got 3 pullers going here. You're getting down blocks from the right side of the line, like we talk about. And then essentially all I wanted to show here is this could have been 6, but you're going to see right here Linderbaum and Ricard run into each other and Linderbaum trip right there. But this had potential because if Linderbaum doesn't trip, and we know how he does in space, if he's getting to Mosley, and he's looking at him right there. If he doesn't trip, Ricard's going here. Zeitler's doing enough here. Drake is riding his blockers. And, I mean, Zeitler missed a little bit there as well, but, there was some real potential. So let's go to do a wrap-up here.
All right, so there you have it, folks. So, I mean, you guys see it. Nick Boyle brings a ton of value as a tight end blocker. You see Oliver kind of getting bit up a little bit there. You see Ricard missing. Those are all concepts that you would see Nick Boyle running, and he just doesn't miss very often. So I'm really wondering if they're going to make a change there. I think Morgan Moses needs to play a lot better. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do concept-wise. It was very gap-heavy. They ran 14 gap to 2 zone. And we saw what happened on the 1 zone. It was actually blocked up pretty well. If Moses gets to his guy, I'm wondering how well that goes. So I'm wondering if they'll shift, run a little bit more zone heavy with Patrick McCarrion. But I'm looking forward to see what they can do. So, drop a like down below, drop a comment, let me know what you guys think. Are you worried? Is this correctable? And if you're new here, hit subscribe so you can find your way back for more. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other.